If you're struggling to make a decision, then this video is made specifically for you. Recently, I have made some really big decisions that have completely shifted the trajectory of my life. Because of the result of making these decisions, I have pretty much put myself into a brand new timeline. And there's a lot that I've learned from this. So in this video, I want to speak about the 3 most important things that I think everyone should know when making a difficult decision. I'm going to be sharing a really simple way that makes making really difficult decisions a lot easier. So make sure you stay to the end for that, because that's going to be really useful information. And I just wanted to say thank you so much, guys, for your comments in advance, and thank you so much for the comments that you've been leaving on my previous videos. I absolutely love chatting with you guys about these kind of subjects. I can't wait to be having more conversations with you guys. So thank you for your comments, thank you for your subs. But let's jump into the video. The first most important thing that everyone should know when making a decision has to do with advice. And this is something I've learned over the course of my spiritual awakening, is when to take advice and when not to take advice. And I think advice can be really useful, but I also think it can muddle us up, and it can be really distracting, or it can take us away from our own personal needs, values, and really take us out of alignment. So we have to be really careful when we are choosing to take advice and who we are taking advice from. I think deep down we all know when we actually need advice, or when we need to just listen to ourselves. And this is something that definitely takes some learning, because we might be in a stage of our lives where it is just automatic for us to ask for advice on every single decision. I know some people in my life can't even choose an outfit without asking, okay, does this look okay? And then you're actually going off of what if someone else says, I don't really like that, and you choose to change even though you did like the outfit, you're then making a decision based on someone else's personal opinion. And sometimes that's not the best thing for us. Sometimes we need to make the decisions ourselves, and sometimes the best thing we can do is make a decision for ourselves. And this can really help to build trust. And I remember watching a video before, and this girl, I can't remember who it was, this girl said, try to go, if you're used to getting advice from people, try to go 2 weeks without taking advice from anyone, or a month. Try to go a whole month without taking any advice, and see how much you rely on advice from others to make small or big decisions. I think this is a really good practice to do and see, and then you can start to learn where you actually need advice. Sometimes we need advice from people that are really successful, or they're already successful with something that we want to be successful with. Just being aware of who we're taking advice from. Maybe for example, if we've been in a relationship and we are not sure whether this relationship is right for us, it can be so in our nature, especially as girls, to go and speak to other girls about whether they think that we are right for this relationship, or whether they think that this relationship is right for us. But really all the information they have is what we've told them. They're not in the relationship. We know the situation the best. Even when it comes to our careers, we know what we need and what we value the most. Which brings me to number 2. The second most important thing that I think everyone should know when making a decision is to do with the conflict of needs and values. If we're experiencing a decision being really difficult to make, the reason for this is because we have a conflict inside of us, a conflict of needs or values. And this can cause us to be stuck and not really know what to do. Sometimes we end up not doing anything because we can't choose the best way forward. And behind every choice, there are things that we would get from making either choice. And to make things easier, I have created this illustration. Let's say, I'm going to use this example, okay? This is something that happened to me the other day. I was faced with two choices. I was invited out to the cinema at 8 p.m. So I have two choices. I can either go to the cinema with my friends at 8 p.m. or I could stay in and do some yoga, wind down for the evening at 8 p.m. See how these two choices clash? I can't do both of them. It's impossible for me to do both of these choices or have both of these. The reason why this was a difficult choice for me is because when my friends asked me if I wanted to go to cinema, there's part of me that really wanted to go, but then there was also this part of me that was a little bit anxious, that was like pulling on me. It felt like there was another part of me that was like pulling me in a different direction. And this was the part of me that wanted to stay in and do some yoga and wind down for the evening. Each of these choices has a result. If I was to choose to go to the cinema with my friends at 8 p.m, the result would be that I would have the need of connection fulfilled, the need of entertainment, and my value of having fun. These would all be fulfilled if I did choice one. Now, if I chose to go with choice two, my value and need for wellness, my career value, because I'll be preparing for the next day by winding down in the evening, and also my value of discipline. So really sticking to what I said I was going to do, doing yoga, winding down at 8 p.m. This would all be needs that would be fulfilled and the result of choosing choice two. The next step when it comes to writing down all of these needs and values, becoming aware of what the needs and values are behind your choices, understanding that there might be a conflict here. And the way that we can understand this is by now. So I learned this little technique from Till Swan. I absolutely love Till Swan. She's a great teacher. And once you figure out what the needs and values are behind each decision that you're going to make, you're going to put them in a list. And I'll show you here. So this is my list of personal priorities. And I've taken all of the needs and values from the choices and put them in a list and in order of priority. And the first one, my most important one, was wellness. So now I know that because this is most important, I'm going to be picking choice two, which was to stay in, do yoga and wind down for the evening, because this was really what was most important for me. Now, as you can see here, the second most important need was connection. And this is why this made this particular decision so difficult to make, because both of these needs, they are both really high up on my list of values. So now I know that I have this need for connection. I can choose to fulfill that need at a different time in more creative ways that doesn't clash with my need for wellness. Hope that makes sense. And this brings me to number three, the third important thing I think everyone should know when making any decision: knowing why you're making a decision. And it might sound silly because we know why we make decisions, right? What I've realized in the last few weeks is how many of us actually sit down and fully understand what we're getting out of making a decision. And then if we make another decision, what needs then have not been met? And I think that when we start to become aware of why we make decisions, we can build more self-trust, and we also build more confidence in our decisions because we know why we made them. The other day, I told my mum that I had decided to stay in instead of going out with my friends on Monday night. And she said to me, "Oh, but Amy, sometimes you have to have fun." And I was like, I know. And I think if I hadn't have written down all of the needs and values and what was important to me, maybe her comment would have got to me and I would have changed my mind. But because I knew in my heart what was important to me and what was personally a priority for me, her comment didn't bother me. I wasn't like, "Oh, you're right." I knew, yeah, sometimes you do have to have fun. And I will choose to have fun in other times and socialise at other times. But for that particular moment, the most important thing for me was wellness. Knowing why instead of doing things just because they feel right or just following advice blindly can really help us to be at peace with our decisions, because we just fully know. We feel like we're in alignment with our decisions. coming back to the example of when we have conflicting decisions, knowing why these are conflicting and knowing the needs that are behind each choice, we can then start to come up with more creative ways to meet all the other needs. If I know that my need for wellness is met by staying in and doing yoga, the need for connection, I know that I have to make an effort to invest in that need. And that might mean, you know, arranging to see my friends at another time, arranging to meet up with people another time, if that makes sense. I hope you found this video helpful, guys. This technique really helps me, and these points have really helped me with making small and big decisions in the last few weeks. So if you found this video helpful, please do share it, as it really will help my channel. And thank you again for all of your comments and your subscriptions. I can't wait to see you in the next video, and that is it for today. Peace and love. Bye.